So we continue with our adult themes in Torchwood. Do they really have to turn the Cybermen into a bikini? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek, and it is time for the review of Cyberwoman, the possibly the most controversial episode of Torchwood. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash a like on the video, and turn on those notifications. I did recently just get over 100 subscribers, so I've recently done a Doctor Who ranking where I ranked the best season finales for Doctor Who. This was a poll decided by you guys. Please join me this coming Saturday, as well as I do another ranking where I try to review the best one-time villains of Doctor Who. For today, we are looking at Cyberwoman, and this is an episode which I have gone backwards and forwards over the years. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, and I've never quite been able to put into words the reason why. Today, rewatching it, I think I might have finally hit the nail on the head. It's very inconsistent. Now, let's get the obvious out of the way. Making the bloody Cyberwoman wear a stupid metal bikini is ridiculous. It's like they tried to take tips from Return of the Jedi, where they had Princess Leia in a gold metal bikini. But they tried to take what was good and scary and emotional about the Cybermen, but then also add on an adult twist to it, and it just, for me, lacked conviction. There's so many opposites within this episode. The biggest thing I felt watching this episode today was how something as simple as music, which is so important for setting the emotional scene of a movie or TV show, can have such a disastrous consequence if it's not done correctly. Now, there's three main occasions that I noticed this in this episode today. First of all, it's the scene, the cold open, where you get to meet Lisa for the very first time. And you've got this kind of music that's trying to set the scene, and it's sort of working, and then bang! What happens is they cut straight to the theme of the show.
This is Lisa.
And so you've got this sudden massive juxtaposition of the music and the tone, and because the very nature of the theme of Torchwood, it's quite a loud theme, just the balance didn't work there. Later on, you've got this whole massive kind of chase scene and everything throughout the hub as Lisa, the Cyberwoman, is going after the whole team. You have this quite emotional scene where you have Yanto being held back by his team, and you have the Cyberwoman who's being attacked by a pterodactyl, which you feel the raw emotion from Yanto, and you can see it and you kind of feel it, but then at the same time, because the music, as you see the lift going up again, it's sort of this quite actiony, bombastic kind of music that just doesn't work.
You can do that! Have some fucking mercy!
Then you have, right towards the end of the episode, he sees Lisa lying dead on the floor, covered in blood, and you've got this really slow, emotional music. For me, that's the kind of level of that music that you wanted. You wanted something that was kind of pulling on the heartstrings a little bit more, and just the whole balance across the entire episode just didn't work for me. There was no consistency. I like the fact that they really tried to delve into Yanto more and give him some reason to feel sorry for him and understand him, because really, up until this point, he is, for lack of a better word, a butler. And it kind of shows in this episode what the team really think about him. So you have that scene right towards the start when Yanto is with the Doctor and the team come back unexpectedly. And Jack is kind of giving orders to Gwen, to Owen, to Tosh, and telling them to speak to people about UFOs and people in the government and all these different kind of stuff. But the first thing that Jack says to Yanto is, could you make us some coffee? That's the level of appreciation that Yanto gets from his team. He is nothing more than a little odds body, really. You know, he's got potentially so much more to give, potentially, you know, because he works with Torchwood in London, and he's got all this knowledge, and yet, for someone like Gwen, he's getting more of a responsibility than he is, because of everything that's going on. You know, I can understand why he may feel frustrated and upset and annoyed, to be perfectly honest. So they do try to play on it, but again, it just doesn't ultimately work. Maybe I think there's a little bit of overacting, I could possibly say, from Gareth David Lloyd, who played Yanto, because you had a lot of, for lack of a better word, ugly crying scenes for him. And on one hand, I can see it, and on the other hand, it just felt a bit too much, and there wasn't that level of balance. I'm not going to lie, the whole stupid idea of putting the Cyberwoman into a meta bikini and giving her high heels and all this kind of stuff, it was so stupid. Again, it just tells me the sort of mentality that they had going into this. We're trying to be adult, we're trying to be dark, we're trying to be edgy, and again, it just didn't work. I know I'm saying that a lot, that it just didn't work, but that goes to show what this episode really was all about, and it tried to really delve into the really dark nature of what the Cybermen are like and what it would be like for someone who would have to experience the loss of a loved one to a cyber conversion. I just don't think it was handled very well. There was one really good blink and you miss it moment. Now, I don't know whether this was an acting choice, directing choice, whatever. It's a split-second moment that you see right after the team have shot the pizza girl, when after they have shot her and Yanto goes to look back at the team, the individual look on each of the characters really showed how they perceived the whole situation. You've got Jack there, who's looking on at Yanto with no regret, no remorse, because he knows everything about the Cybermen and how dangerous they are. So he's just looking on with gritted determination. You've got Gwen, who, I think because she's probably so overcome with the emotion of it, and because of course she's so new, that she just can't bear to look, and she has to turn away. Toshiko, for me, just kind of looks on with sadness and empathy and sorrow for Yanto. And then you have Owen, who I think because of the impact that the last episode had on him, Owen's sort of caught in two minds. He's, on one hand, he's a bit like Jack, where he knows the serious threats that the Cybermen pose, but then also he has the kind of sorrow for knowing how difficult it must have been for Yanto, and the fact that he does really love Lisa, but knowing as well what needed to be done. So I think Owen was the most complex of that little split-second moment, and I found that really, really interesting. Those are my thoughts on Cyberwoman, the 4th episode of the 1st season of Torchwood. Please join me tomorrow for Doctor Who Wednesdays, where I'm going to begin my review of Season 3 of Doctor Who, starting with Smith and Jones, the introduction to Martha Jones. And remember to join me on Saturday for my ranking of the best one-time villains of New Doctor Who. Until next time, my name's Kevin. I'm a geek, and you have been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.